by now. By civil servants in Imo State. They have of and cost and all members members now the question is, have we seen a police station or in Imo State? And that's a good one. If the savage don't if possible and but that's not the big story. Of course, there is the report that Port Harcourt and Obio-Akpor residents are lamenting the increase in cost of transportation, and I found that news in our in-house bulletin. And it goes like this: in fresh increase in the cost of transportation within Port Harcourt, and residents are not happy about this. It followed a fresh increase in the price of petrol to about 670 naira per litre in some filling stations in the city. Our correspondent spoke to some commuters along the Old Port Harcourt Township, Abab Road, and other George access. Can we take a listen? Please, let's take a listen.
Because everybody knows everything is high now. Every my motor now have already packed because of fuel. Even this December, we don't know whether people can be able to travel again.
Where I enter from my house to work before, it was 100 naira. Now, if you want to enter the transport, you'll be hearing conductor saying 200. We're actually working to make ends meet, not to spend it all on transportation.
From here to my house at Tumbi Extension, I take 1,000, sometimes 900. But now it's 1,004. I went to Lagos last month. I spent 127,000 before. Is 15,000. I'm going to buy some goods. Everything at the price.
All right, so I'm wondering if you are feeling the impact. Have you also experienced an increase in the price of transportation? Your regular routes. Have you experienced? I'd like to hear from you. What is the situation like? For me, I wouldn't tell you yet again what my experience is. It's not about me. It's about you, the listener, and I like to have a conversation and interaction with you. So this is a big story as far as I'm concerned. An increase in transportation fare, in various parts of Port Harcourt and Obio-Akpor local government areas. To the final story, interesting it is. By the way, I should say, former CBN governor Godwin Emefiele was in court. I think right now, as I can see, is leaving the court right now, and the court has granted him bail. Remember, it was in the custody of the FCC, and when court sat yesterday, it was absent, or was it the day before? It was absent, and the court demanded that the commission provided Emefiele in court, and that has happened, and he has been granted bail. Interesting there. We'll give you the story as it develops, but that's not part of our big story. I would have to go back now to what I was about to start, and that is the third big story. Universities ASUU kick as federal government demands 40% of universities' revenues. And in a situation where you and I would always call on radio and talk and exchange ideas and say, oh, government is not funding properly our tertiary education, and we have argued that the budgeting for education is too low. We need to increase it up to 25% of the budget. We've had all of those arguments on whether we should privatize the schools so that the schools can run properly. What best ways can we fund our universities? And although we're yet to see the wordings of the law that backs the student loan, which will kickstart January 2024, a lot of people are scared that that loan structure may be a structure that allows the federal government to remove its hands in terms of funding tertiary institutions. However, now government is saying I need 40%, and I think this is coming from the Accountant General's office. The Accountant General of the Federation's office said for whatever money generated by the universities, 40% should go back to the federal government. They are also insisting that lecturers pay for accommodation. Usually they have the lecturer lodges and all of that they pay for their accommodation, and I think the money should also be sent to the federal government. What do you make of this? Because ASUU, the VCs are saying and they are arguing that universities or tertiary institutions are not money-making ventures, but they are, a place of learning that empowers the Nigerian individual, or generally the individual, to be able to garner knowledge and be of importance to society, because knowledge is the bedrock of a society. All right, I'll go for a quick commercial break. When I do come back, I'd like to get your thoughts on these issues, every one of them, if you can summarize it in 2-3 minutes. Right, so the number is 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-00, and WhatsApp number for WhatsApp messages 080 stand up for all three platforms. The commercial break is not long, in a minute, less than 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Like I told you, I would not be away for too long, and I'm back, and it's time for you and I to interact. I'm going to open the phone lines now, but just in case you are tuning in right about now, you're listening to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am Kala Dakurubatibo, and you are welcome. We're looking at the three big stories, and the first one has got to do with the NLC and its current protest come strike in Imo State. It's shutting down things and places. And of course, the second big story has got to do with transportation fare increment in some parts of River State. And the third one has got to do with the federal government demanding 40% of revenue generated in universities. I'd like to hear from you. I really would love to. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp messages, you go to the WhatsApp number 0809-030-6416. If you are in Owerri, I would love to hear from you. If you are in Imo State generally, I'd love to hear from you, because Labour made certain allegations like, other political parties apart from the ruling party are not allowed to campaign properly. They also said that there are no posters, not even a small poster of other political parties other than the ruling party in Imo State. And yet again, if Labour is singing such a tune, the question then is there a politicization of unionism in Imo State? 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. I've got a call. Hello, good luck. Welcome on the show.
Kalada, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Welcome. Let's talk, please.
It has been long I joined. Okay, I want to talk about the issue of 40% that the federal government is demanding from tertiary institutions.
Okay.
Well, from my own point of view, I don't see anything bad with that official action. But the gut there is that even if this 40% are being given to the federal government, what are they going to use it for?
Okay.
If not to languish it with buying SUV. They are not going to make judicious use of good money. That is just the problem. If I don't see anything wrong, if they are demanding some percentage, at least even if it's not going to be up to 40%, because we are fully aware that tertiary institutions are not free. The undergraduates are paying school fees with some amount of money. So where are those money going to? If we should ask a question to be
All right, thank you very much. I've got to move on now. I'm sorry. I've got Emeka from Owerri. Emeka, welcome on the show. Let's get your talks.
Good afternoon, brother.
Yeah, let's get your thoughts, please.
Let me do on the Imo State election.
All right.
It's getting tense here now. See, you see, when somebody says, play politics or whatever, for God's sake, this man is from Imo State. Then why you, as a governor, why didn't you pay these pensioners and salaries for 3 years and 6 months? Why do you allow these people to come in? And you know, I always say this book. I said don't play politics, but everybody is a potential politician in Nigeria today. Everybody, be it INEC, be it security, be it journalists, be it me, everybody. Potential politicians. Even the Labour Congress. We must not take that away from them. You allow this thing to come in. Canada, do you know the way people are doing about politics? In the state and Kogi state, I don't see any difference from the way they are about to run this election, especially for the incumbent. What is going on? But it's even a little bit better. I ask you, what is going on here? Canada, have you ever heard that an election like this is about to come? The government of the day went to the House of Assembly, whether they call it the bill or act or whatever, that before you put your foot on the road, you pay 46 million or thereabouts. Canada, where has this kind of thing happen in Nigeria, in the state of Nigeria? And you say you are not desperate. And when the Labour congressman did what he did, he say he's playing politics. What are you doing by?
So you're in support of shutting down things to the point it affects the election on Saturday.
They don't have any other option to do that. They those people will cut the book. Even if the government is still denying that, they don't know about it.
All right.
Canada, we are all human beings now. This man is about this period. I've never seen this kind of thing. And somebody asked me, say, the government is very politics. Why can't they play politics? What is happening that you choke their opponents here? Nothing because of any other opponents of Imo State.
All right.
Because is it proper? The way they are going, I tell you, let us this democracy last. I'm telling you.
All right, thank you very much. Democracy would last. Thank you, Emeka. I've got to go. Clinton from Bori, welcome on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Kalada.
Welcome.
Yeah, I had to look at the core mandates of Labour, and one of them is to protect the interests of the working class as well as the interests of the masses. Now, Joe Ajaero, for me, in this case, is an interested party because he happens to come from Imo State. So it actually, this man had the interests of the Imo workers at heart. why wait till a week to election?
No, 20 months. You said 20 months. I said I didn't get the right fact. 20 months, yeah. Almost 2 years.
20 months is just like 2 years.
Okay, all right, no problem there. I just wanted the facts to be out there.
So why wait till a week to our election to pay solidarity with the IMO workers? I think it calls for concern, calls for worry. It paves way for criticism, for people to suspect that there's something fishy about this particular man.
Okay.
So I think the strike going on in Imo State is very political and should be discouraged in the continental republic. Then finally, on universities, as in federal government demanding 40% from the universities. Is this money from the state universities or the federal universities?
The federal, of course, the federal universities, not the state.
The federal. Now, it will be a good one if and only if the federal government is funding these universities. Properly funding, not just funding, properly funding but to look like an investment. You're investing in a venture and you're expecting returns from that venture. So if the government can properly fund these universities to a standard level, then there's nothing wrong with getting revenue from the university.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Clinton. Let's listen to Paul from Bonny Island. Paul, welcome on the show. Let's get your thoughts,
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Paul.
Yeah, the $1 million question is, are civil servants old for 20 months or 20 years?
20 months.
For 2 years, as the case with it. People will make one program say, on what you able to I wouldn't know how to explain it.
But you've just used it on air, so you should explain it, please, because I don't know what you've said.
There is one mark to put on our forehead. That is, this thing is a sort of tradition.
Okay.
It used to be on the forehead. And he said that there's no time you put that mark on your forehead, it is at your neck or at the back of your head. Whenever you put it, it's still on the forehead. Whether political or not political. The issue is that should there have been all reached up to date? Let us even assume that it's political. Would it be right for the same person that owed civil service for this number of years, or months, still be allowed to continue as governor? And again, the way it was being handled, or the way they handled this man, is it how a political opponent, even if it's what is it the way?
So what's your point in summary? Are you there?
Hello.
Yeah. What's your point in summary, please?
My point is that if they want to go ahead with the strike, they should go ahead with the strike.
All right.
If it is possible to remove this man from power, let them do it, because this is not what democracy is all about. People have become emperors, tyrants. This is what led to the first coup in Nigeria.
No, thank you very much. I would have to stop you here at this point, so we don't deviate. Frank from D-Line, welcome on the show.
Good afternoon, Calabria.
Yeah, Frank, welcome.
Let me dwell on the NLCT threatening to shut down Imo State. Calabria, me shutting down Imo State. NLC, they are trying to play politics.
Okay.
They have all how many months ago that they're supposed to settle this thing. They refused to do that, and now that this election is around the corner, they have now go to Imo State to go there and cause confusion that they are fighting for the workers. Let me tell you emphatically that they are not fighting for workers. The man is looking for his own personal money, and the man refused to give it. Something that the election will not happen. The election.
Frank, that's an allegation. When you call in and say that he is looking for money, you were not there. All right, go ahead.
But I would have even loved all other parties for them to come out and choose one party. I accept that fact. Well, only one party will face both of them since they want to unseat that man. But if all of them continue to stand for the election, I don't see any chance of them winning the election.
All right, then. All right,
thank you.
Thank you very much. I've got to move on now. I've got Anonymous from Port Harcourt. Anonymous, greetings to you. Welcome on the show.
Yeah, very good evening, Canada.
Yeah, greetings.
The federal government demanding 40% of IGR from area universities. That is quite absurd. It's there. I don't know where that is a standard practice, in other clients. Now, don't forget that the reason why the universities went into IGR or were forced into IGR ad initio was because the federal government wasn't funding these universities. And so the IGR was meant to augment whatever loophole that the federal government is putting or giving to the university. How come now you're asking them to return 40% or 45%? It's not just, I don't know, like I said, I don't know whether it's a standard practice. And for crying out loud, the university is not viewed, it's not a commercial entity. It's not a commercial entity, and if it's not a commercial entity, you're asking them out of their self-struggle, probably most of all these things are done as a result of the research endeavors and all of that. And you're asking them to return 40 or 45%, and for what are you going to use it for? Canada opened the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 18, has told us that government ought to fund education at all levels, free, where it is possible. So if they are not keeping to their own side of the bargain about putting the dues in the educational system, and now they are asking the educational system to struggle internally and return, I can't place it, my dear brother. I think somebody can help explain this to me or give me a reference where it is happening in any part of the world. If it is happening in Yale or in Harvard or in Cambridge, I need to know. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I've got Femi. Femi is calling. Oh, I think I've missed that one. It's calling from the UK. Let's see. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, Femi, can you hear me?
Hello?
All right. I think we are having network issues there.
Hello?
Yeah, Femi, can you hear me? Oh my goodness. I guess there's network issues, so I do not know. You would have to try calling back, and let's see if it works. All right, I've got Ogbona from Rupoku. Ogbona, welcome.
Yeah, Kalada, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Ogbona.
Yeah, Kalada, I want to talk on the aspect of the labor issue in state and the rest of them.
All right.
Kalada, I think some of these things we should be able to know the right thing to do some certain times. I am very sure that the Constitution had never, if anybody, I'm stand to be corrected, if the Constitution has said that few days to the election, that there should be no protest, there should be no peaceful protest of anything that has to do with civil servants coming out for a particular government that has not been doing well for a while. Kalan, let me tell you why I'd never faulted what Labour is doing in Imo State.
Oh, you tell me.
How many times or how many years has democracy come to Imo State? How many governors have come and left? If you had heard the hopes of the governor of the state coming up to campaign, what was he saying? He was saying he was going to do this. He was going to do that. This is the present government that has been in power for the past 4 years, has not done anything. Canada, nobody should crucify Labour.
All right.
It is not in the Constitution to tell Labour when to do their protest. Even if it's a day, so far it's going to be a peaceful matter. And one thing people have failed to understand, what the Labour are talking about is the truthful aspect of it. People have not been paid. So even in the past, they have been waiting for the election to go. And at the end of the day, they start protesting. And it has been working since 1999. And they have devised another means. Nobody should tell me if they have gone to Bayelsa or Kogi State to do anything. That is their position right now.
All right,
so let's respect that.
All right.
So what we are saying in essence is there is no time in the Constitution telling us to protest and when not to protest.
All right.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your contribution as well. And he says there is no time limit. But then again, Ogbonna, you want to think about it from the angle and perspective of trying to make sure that the state is safe, because a protest in such a sensitive time where people have various ways of reasoning, it could cause a problem or two. Think about it from that angle. But I've got Femi back on the line. Femi, can you hear me? Oh my, it's such a sorry situation. Eric is calling from Thai. Eric, welcome on the show.
Kalada, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
So, Kalada, I want to find out, does it mean that the federal government, be it federal or state, does not look into the expenses and the revenue that are generated from the universities of Nigeria?
Yeah.
Does it mean they don't look into it?
Of course, they do. They do an auditing at the end of the year. But I don't think, coming from looking at this statement, I don't think they take...
I'm talking about all the funds that are being generated from the students for the school fees.
But it's not enough. I hope you know that the schools run on a daily, whether the school is on break or not. Okay.
If the federal government have decided that the school should be able to submit or remit 40%, let's say 30 to 40% of whatever generated, I think it's not wrong. It's not wrong, because over time they have been going on strike, ASUU here and there, thinking that government should pay them, or government should sponsor them, or government should find a way of satisfying their needs. And they're generating money internally from school fees and other areas. So what they should do is to submit whatever generated to the government and allow the government to internally run the cost of running the university, so that it will now be clear that the government have hand in what they are doing, because it is not a private organization.
Okay.
And it means they have to give an account to the owner of the school.
But you should
that
know.
Is the federal or the state government.
But you should
because
know.
This thing is long overdue.
All right.
That the head of these universities will have money and keep the money with themselves.
All right.
Spend the money on their own.
All
without giving account to government.
No, like I said, Eric, I've got to let you go. I've got to let you go. First of all, I've said they give account to, there is an end of the year auditing, 1. 2, I think there is a part in the Constitution, or is it? Yeah, of course, they are a product of legislation. The universities, of course, they are a product of legislation. And there's somewhere in our laws that says, the university management should be able to manage some of these, operational things. So I guess it's a situation of legality, and let's see what comes out of it. Let's see. But I get your point. The universities have been crying and asking for funds, and you're asking how have they been spending the ones that they have been collecting from, fees and the likes. I get your point. I get you really good. Let's see. I read some messages, but I'm still trying to see if I can connect with Femi. I hope it works this time. The network is terrible, I should say. Hello, Femi, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. So it's still not working, yeah? Not my fault now. Okay, so this one says, man of the people, greetings. On this issue of increasing cost of transportation in Rivers State, why wouldn't there be an increase in cost of transportation in Rivers State when some filling stations owners have increased the pump price of fuel to 700 naira per litre? Man of the people, do you know the worst part of it? The fuel we are buying now looks like breeze. Only this week I have spent no less than 15,000 naira. How much is my salary? From Tango Ability at Twigbu. All right, this one says, I believe we should have been discussing the assault meted out on the NLC president rather than we should be discussing how many arrests have been made. The impunity is too much, and that's why we cannot make progress. Murderers and other criminals are not being brought to book, and this allows them to continue to perpetrate their heinous acts. Martin, all right, I get your view. This one says, hi Kalada, is the Imo State government owing civil servants? Are we in the military or democratic era? This can't even happen in the military era. No time is late for the NLC to strike. It is when a man wakes that is morning. 40% of tertiary funds to government, I support it. There is little to show the VCs, rectors, etc. are doing with the tertiary funds. Go and see how they use the funds for their personal aggrandizement. Barry from Bori. Tuition fees are paid into IJR account details. Okay. All right. This one says, what are they asking for 40% of fees generated by universities, and what will they use the money for? The government is not subsidizing any aspect of our lives. Rather, they are more interested in buying bulletproof SUVs for themselves. Nigerians are not enjoying any aspect of subsidized amenities from the state, be it social, security, energy, education, etc. And then you said tuition fees are paid into IJR account details. All right, I get you. Donna from Igruta, thank you very much for that one. Let's see. Please, Canada. So can you invite Dr. Sado to come and give some insight into this 40% payment of the IJR to the federal government accounts, Elder Opuda? You read my mind. Sometime this week, we'll talk about this. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. But you said, interesting breath of fresh air today. Your three big stories without Rivers politics. Thanks to God. Thanks to God, I should say as well. This one said, it is laughable for people to blame Labour for protesting now in Imo State. Let the governor pay the civil servants, and every protest will naturally die off instead of beating Labour president that is highly respected by FG. If protesting now will compel the government to pay off the backlog, so be it. Victor from Egbema. But remember, the Imo State government denied having any involvement. Likewise, the police in Imo State. This says, good afternoon, please. This last Sunday. Oh, okay. That I don't know anything about it. Samuel the Psalmist. I know nothing about it. But this one says, while we may have different opinions for the NLC and TUC calling nationwide strike, mine is worrisome because I had posited on the attitude of our trade unions, double dealing on dialogue with federal government, and failed several times, and will still, if patriotism and steadfastness are not applied deliberately, be by the unionists. Okay, and I think I should read it again. So while we may have different opinions for the NLC and TUC calling nationwide strike, mine is worrisome because I had posited on the attitude of our trade unions, double dealing on the dialogue with federal government, and failed several times, and will still, if patriotism and steadfastness are not applied deliberately by the unionists. Jimbo Baraye Karibon Nelson from Ogutown. Okay, this one says, good afternoon, Kalada. NLC and TUC should please give me a break. Is Mr. Ajero not more important than the rest of Nigerians who were killed by the police, army, those who died from insecurity, from accidents as a result of bad roads, from starvation because they couldn't afford food to eat? Nigerians who are suffering untold hardship because of the cruel and insensitivity of the government. Is NLC and TUC not in this country? Please, they should go and collect for themselves as usual and allow us to rest. And this is coming from Lady V. All right, do I have time? Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to take some more calls after the short break. I'm going to take some more calls after the short break, so do stay tuned. Let me read some more messages. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Kalada. Imo State government and NLC, you're not taking sides really, but your body language suggests otherwise. So what's my body language suggesting, please? Can you help me? Because I do not know. Can you help me tell me what sides I have taken? Because really, I do not know. This one says, NLC engaging in partisan politics is nothing out of the ordinary, as it is the only and surest way to provide for the social welfare of workers in the country. Is that a reason for violence and brutalization of an individual, partisan or not? I am worried about the spate of violence than the partisanship of certain individuals. After all, NLC was partisan when Adams Oshomole became governor of Edo State, and then it was not an issue. All right, this is coming from Anonymous. All right, good arguments there. This one says, I disagree with the government deducting 40% from Nigeria's university institutions, and it is important to note that the current housing scheme for lecturers is not free. Yes, it is not free, but they are saying they want to collect 100% of that money, as revenue for the government. So it's written. This one says, asking schools to pay a certain percentage to FG is a welcome development. I keep wondering what the school management does with all the funds they milk out from students. Escobar. Private universities use funds realized from their universities to pay lecturers, workers, and maintain the facilities. What do public universities do with all the funds they get from the students? And I'm going to reply that by asking you, do you think the public universities are not maintained? I'm wondering, because they also would pay lecturers, like you've mentioned. They'll pay, non-academic staffers, like you've mentioned, and they will maintain the facilities to the best of their abilities. All right, we'll go for the quick commercial break. When I do come back, I'll take some more calls. Please stay tuned. All right, we've got Femi on the line. Femi, greetings to you. Good afternoon. Welcome on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I just wanted to say that usually universities are like a money spinner for the whole economy, not just the government.
Okay.
So what Nigeria should be looking to do is to make sure that the universities in Nigeria are hub for all African students to come in and study. You can never make enough money with universities. I'll give you an example. Harvard University, their budget is bigger than Nigeria's budget. The budget for Harvard University. Cambridge, 2-point-something billion. Oxford, 2-point-something billion. The smaller universities in England, they have 400 million businesses. They are limited companies.
2-point-something.
So sorry, a lot of research with companies.
Femi, 2-point-something billion pounds, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
For Cambridge.
Okay.
That's their annual budget. Because if you go to universities, most universities say, like I went to university here, they're always updating their system. Technology is moving very fast.
Yeah.
They keep updating. They have to offer postgraduate courses. They have to do research. For private companies to come to them to help them do research. That's why we have all these professors. They're all doing research. So for government, it should not be to take money out. In fact, they should be looking to put more money in. Afe Babalola, he just donated £5 million to his alma mater. I forgot which one is Cambridge or Oxford. You can Google it. It's there. So this universities, they need money. They always get donated to the rich people because they never have enough money. So the government should not be taking money, and 40% is a joke. Come on, how much are they making in the first place? You want to take 40%? You know, it should not be like that. You know,
right.
We should have an idea of what we want our universities for, and then go for it.
All right, then. That's the much I can take. My time is fast spent. We've got to go so that we can listen to the business news and more conversations coming your way. And the caller you listened to just now was calling from the UK. Okay, that being said, I am Kalada Garubatibo, and this is Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinator